God of Jacob. I believe in the God of Israel. I believe in one God. I believe that Christ was manifest in the flesh as one God, like the old Israel who painted lambs but on their doorposts. I believe that Christ is my true lamb, and his blood has been painted upon me. I believe that the same God of Israel will protect me from all evils and sickness of this world, and I'll do my best to keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. I believe that my Messiah died for my sins. I believe that he raised from the dead, and I believe that he will come again to judge the whole house of Israel. I believe that my God has created the heavens and the earth and everything upon it. I believe in one God who is holy and righteous. I believe that the God of Israel is my Father. There is only one God. There is only one God of Israel. I'll give my whole soul and body and spirit to the one God of Israel, for he is righteous and he is my Father. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Selah and Selah. Amen. Let's have a seat.
Absolutely.
Let's have a seat, Elder Elvis.
Thank you for inviting me on today.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining AIJ TV. I will be your host today. It is Elder Andel, and I am joined by the very famous Elder Elvis. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Sandal, I'm not that famous.
I got to turn this way so I can look at him and talk to him. So, talk to me, Elvis. What made you want to jump in on this lesson today?
The topic, you know what the topic is. I mean, you guys know what the topic is. It's talking about the Hellboys.
What about the Hellboys?
Oh, man, there's so much. They're involved in everything, by the way.
Yeah.
So people don't know that everything that they do these days has to do with the Hellboys and trying to subjugate them, trying to put them down, trying to manipulate them. Name it, it's them. And if you think it's not, it's still them. So, and we're talking about the guys that came down, the 1/3.
All right, okay. So, what Elder Elvis doesn't know, for you guys out there in Cyberland and our live audience today, what Elder Elvis is not prepared for is my ad hoc questions. Elder Elvis and I did not prepare. We had maybe a 2-minute conversation on the topic.
Pretty much.
But hey, man, he's in for the ride today, right? What's your favorite scripture?
Man, there's so much, though. I mean,
Give me one. Give me one. If there's so much.
I like the story of Abraham and the point when he's
Yeah.
trying to sacrifice his son,
Okay.
and he went 1,000% in,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden, stop, don't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
That because you can feel it. Like I don't think I would do that. I mean, I got 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl, and I don't know if I'd be able to sacrifice any of them.
Yeah, what would you have done? You just say, God, too bad, I'm not doing it, or what would you do?
No, I mean I would follow it, but then you know you're going there and in your head, the back of your head, do I have to do this? Do I have to
Yeah.
do this? I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Your internal struggle because it'd be like, my son, man, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I mean, bring me somebody else in a heartbeat, yeah. But my own 2 sons, I can't do this. So I would go all the way, and at the last moment, I said, no, I can't do this. No, I'd chicken out.
You know, and a lot of people would say that if they were Abraham, they would have done it, right? They would have been just like Abraham. But the truth is, to your point, I mean, it's a great story, and it's one of those stories that shows the exact reason why Abraham was even blessed beyond blessings, right? Why he is the father of many nations. Because you can't find that kind of a character
No.
look at the whole world. You probably wouldn't find another Abraham. Seriously.
I know, you can't, but even look at that. I mean, they wouldn't even sacrifice their own cats and dogs, so.
Correct.
So
Correct.
they
No,
wouldn't
that's a good point. That's a good point. And those of you out there who's listening that have dogs and stuff like that, I'm going to just jump off what Elder Elvis said because he gave me an opening here, which I'm going to take advantage of. So you're right. I mean, you know, Taya's looking at me, smiling. You know, dogs have burials. Dogs have spas.
Yeah, everything.
Right? Dogs have special restaurants that you could buy steaks and cakes and ice cream. Right? I mean, dogs eat better than a lot of people
Absolutely. They
on
even
this
dress
earth.
better too.
And they dress better.
All the
Correct.
blings and
No,
stuff.
you're right. You're
Oh,
absolutely
man.
right. They get designer clothes. They have all kinds of different things. So that being said, man, I know there's a lot of people here. They want to know. The title is Beware of the Hell Boys. I want to read Psalms 140. And I'm going to tell you guys the title. I've always said this to Elder Michael. I appreciate the professor because I steal from him. And that term Hellboys, I've loved it since he actually dropped it here. And we're going to run with it today. Beware of the Hellboys. And why do we say beware of the Hellboys? Elder Yvonne, why? Why am I saying beware of the Hellboys? I'll tell you this. We live in a world, Elder Elvis, pardon me.
Oh, no.
You and I live in a world that is not only what we can see. We live in a world surrounded by the unseen. Okay? No, go ahead.
And there's more of that unseen than what we can see.
Ah.
Like we're only seeing maybe a 1/10 of if our eyes can perceive that. But then on the other side, which we can't see, there's so much more.
Joab, that's why I like your dad. He's wise beyond his years. So he's given a figure 1/10 is what we can see. Beyond that is the unseen world, right? So, show of hands, anyone ever heard of the term Wi-Fi?
Never.
Okay, one person never heard of it. But everyone else has heard the term of Wi-Fi, right? So if we were able to see radio waves that's going on right now, we would see a lot of zeros and ones flying around in the air, right? Because probably all of you or some of you are on Wi-Fi right now. And it's going from the signal, which is your router or your wireless device, to whether your laptop, whether it's your desktop, whether it's your mobile phone, but it's a wireless transfer. There is information moving that you cannot see, but it is real. It's real. So to your point, if you had, I don't know, I said if, maybe you do have do you have special powers?
No, I mean.
I don't know, I have to ask.
Dwayne's laughing, so he's making me laugh.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But anyways, the human spectrum where they can see visible light to eyes, I think it's very narrow.
Okay.
Because, you could only see in that spectrum where the 20 kilohertz, I believe. But beyond that, you've got infrared, microwave, gamma, cosmic. You can't see these
gee
things.
Whiz. This guy's dropping.
But they're real.
This guy's dropping knowledge.
But it's real, though. I mean,
It's real.
You feel the sunlight, the heat.
Oh, wow.
But it's heat wave. So you do feel it, so you know it's real, but you can't see it.
The world that we live in, ladies and gentlemen, is to Elder Elvis's point, it is a hybrid between the physical and the spiritual. A lot of our people, the children of Jacob, and this is why we're talking about beware of the Hellboys, they may not understand why they do the things that they do and why they don't do the things that we should be doing. Some people think it's just the way I am. Just the way I am, Uncle Andel. It's just my personality. That's why I don't do this or do that. They think it's just the way they are. But when you as they call it, you peel back the onion, Elder Elvis, you get to realize that the influence, the things that are making us think the way we think, do the things that we do, is from a spiritual source, a very, very serious spiritual source. And the reason why a lot of our people stumble and fall and can't catch themselves is because they're not aware that there is this other world that is influencing and causing them to do what they do. Absolutely. So that's why we're screaming and shouting today around the table about beware of the Hellboys. You know what I want to go into?
Hit me.
Psalms 140.
Okay, you want me to read that?
Let's do it.
All right,
Yeah.
let me do it. Psalms 140. Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart. Continually all they gathered together for war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adders, poison is under their lips. Selah.
We'll go easy with this. What are you getting? What do you think I'm going?
Well,
with this scripture, with these 3 verses?
Well,
Where do you
first he
think I'm
says,
going?
deliver me from the evil. Who's
Yeah.
the evil man? Who's that?
Is Ezekiel?
No, it can't be. I mean, when we speak of evil,
Malachi? Go ahead.
but when we speak
Yeah.
of evil, we're thinking of somebody that wants you to do something that's contrary to the God of Abraham,
All right.
the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So who is that? Obviously, as you said, we're in a spiritual, and there's so much that we can't see. And again, we don't know how many or what the number is when it says 1/3 were cast down. Like, how, is that in the trillions? Is that in the billions? We don't know that.
Could
now.
be 10.
Could be 10.
You think
But
it's 10?
I have no clue. But I know that they influence pretty much everybody on the planet if you're not in Israel. That's
Guys, I'm with, like, this guy is just dropping gems. Elder Elvis, good on you.
No, I got to give it up to you, elder, everybody. So, and obviously my elders, the elders that are older than me, they've been here longer than me. So who else can I learn from? Plus, sometimes the children will drop me a bomb, and I'll be go, where's that coming from?
Yeah. Look at this guy, eh? The humble profile here. So, and I like what you said about that, right? Because even this you can take this as talking about physical individuals that are against you, that are plotting you. But we're talking about, like think for just 1 second that every time you go out of your house, every time you come back into your house, every time you're at school, you're at work, every trip you make to the grocery store, every trip you make to the mall, every trip you make to do your last minute Christmas shopping, every one of those trips that you do, you're mingled around a world of the physical and the spiritual. And a lot of the things that we do, I'm telling you this, a lot of the things that we think about. Oh, my brain told me this. You know, people, oh, my mind told me this. A lot of those things are, like, you've seen those cartoons, right? You've seen the cartoons with, like, Shernette's on one side. She's the white angel because you're wearing white. And then you see Gideon because he's in black. He's on the other side, and he's the evil angel. And those two things are always struggling to have dominion over the person. But it's true. It's always there to have dominion over us. And the reason why I'm actually digging into this, Elder Elvis, my daughter Tamar said, the reason why she believes a lot of, let's say, the young boys who are growing in this nation are not here anymore is because perhaps the hell boys were trying to pick them off, but those boys didn't realize that the world we live in, the unseen is always against us. So A, they were ignorant of it, and B, because they were ignorant, they didn't have a sword ready to fight, because they may have thought it was their friends or this or that, but they're not seeing that there's this spiritual realm of hell boys that are actually ensuring that these children who were offered up, named, who were basically from the womb brought into this nation, that they don't make it. So I said, you know what, let's talk about that a little. Let's have discussions around that, because it may not just be the young individuals, it may be even all of us in here. Absolutely. Not really taking stock of the battle. Listen, you know what I've heard? I've heard that Lucifer, he doesn't really care about those who are within his house. He's not busy about trying to make their lives hell, so to speak, right? What I've heard is those who are on the side of truth are really his target, and that's where he focuses a lot of his attention. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, because again, if you already have somebody in your camp,
yeah, and
doing what you do, what do you need to spend energy on them for? If they're already following the same mandate or agenda as you, do you need to waste time? Well, let's go after the guys that we haven't caught yet, we haven't captured. The ones that are shining bright that belongs to the other side. Mm-hmm. So they're always saying, we got to target the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob people, because they're the only ones that matters anyways. I mean, the people that are in his camp, he actually says, yeah, we have you, but you don't really matter. You're not a prized possession.
Yeah.
You're not like a diamond or a ruby to us. So
You a diamond or a ruby? Like what would you?
I like to think I'm up there with the guys, but again, I'm just.
But are you a diamond or a ruby? What would you pick?
Neither any yet.
Really?
Yeah, I'm working on getting shined up.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's a lifetime process.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Any diamonds in the audience? All right. Okay. We got a couple. Any rubes? Was that for ruby or diamond? All right, so I'm going to continue to read 4. So verse 4 says, keep me, O Lord, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who hath purpose to overthrow my goings. Okay? The proud hath hid a snare for me and cords. They have spread a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me. Selah. So it is like they wake up and they go to bed with one thing on their mind, which is to make sure they can try to trap and snare the righteous.
Absolutely.
So all their focus is on is to snare and trap the righteous. And again, I'm calling this out because a lot of people may not truly appreciate and understand that when you become a diamond or a ruby, or both, like Elder Freddie said he is, right. Both, the pursuit after someone like that is a daily pursuit. And Malachi is just staring at me. He's just staring at me. So we need to understand that exists. And more importantly, I think, Elder Elvis, how do we protect ourselves? How do we defend ourselves from these snares, these gins, these traps that are set out all the time? What would you say would be your 2-3 tips of preventing yourself from being snared up?
The first, I definitely said, you got to find out who your God is and stick. And if you believe in the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, then you got to stick to that with all your heart, soul, breath, and being. Because you can't compromise your spirituality, because you know you're alone out there, actually. So don't think that you have friends and people. I say to my children, you don't have any friends at school. You have associates and acquaintances. Your friends are in Israel, actually. So there's no friends outside of the nation or outside of Israel. They're all associates and acquaintances. So therefore, you got to know your God and your stuff. You can't ask them to pray for you. You can't ask them to, hey, I need some help, come and support me, because they don't know what you do. They have no clue. So first, you got to know your God. Then you really have to be in here to learn about the laws, statutes, and commandments, because that will be how you stay separate from them. That is your wisdom, actually. How do you keep the new moon, the Sabbath, the holy days, the feasting days? How do you know when you can drink a beer or two with a friend?
Yeah, but okay. All great points, right? But you have people that are listening right now, and you're talking about first you got to know God. Did you say that?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, right? And there'll be people who are listening right now, or may listen a year from now, after seeing this video, and be like, "There's a guy on stage with a suit and tie saying you got to know God." Everybody knows God.
No. Well, everybody does know God, but which God? Which is the right God, or the God that we serve?
So you're saying there's a difference?
Absolutely.
What's the difference?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's a big topic, but we can simplify it, meaning that think of what's happening right now. We're coming up on that season of what they call Christmas. And
by the way, did you ever celebrate Christmas?
That was 1,000 years ago.
Yes or no?
No, yeah. Yes or no? Seriously. No. Did you celebrate Christmas?
Yeah, at one point in time, yes.
For how many years you celebrated Christmas?
Oh, man. Let me ask Elder Freddie.
No. We're having a conversation. How many years do you think you celebrated Christmas?
Okay, let me see. Not that long, because first of all, when I was in Jamaica, we didn't really celebrate it then.
Okay.
It only happened when we came to Canada.
So how much years was that then?
No, no, a little bit longer than 6. I would say it might be 10 or so. But
Okay.
how are the,
No, okay. No, this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
So and that's why I said we're going to have these ad hoc, he's not prepared. There was no preparation, but we're having a good conversation.
Yeah.
So more than 10 years, right? What was your favorite part of Christmas?
oh my goodness. Oh man.
For those of you that can't hear, Elder Freddie is Elder Elvis's brother. And Elder Freddie is shouting that Elder Elvis's favorite time was the presents under the tree. And Elder Freddie said he saw him opening the gifts. Right? One more question before we move on to Christmas. What was your favorite Christmas carol?
Oh my goodness. I don't know.
Yeah, give me a
I'm
couple.
serious.
Give me a couple.
I don't know because, so what happens is after a while you tend to forget, and only when you walk through the malls and the stores, as these songs are playing in the background, they trigger that memory. And since I've been in Israel for so long, it's like I don't know until you actually mention it. Or I pass through a store. So my thing is I always have a headset at this time of the year when I go shopping.
So the reason why I drill down on that, right, and we're having a good conversation, is because even that system is a Hellboy system.
Absolutely.
Right? Like I'm walking through Canadian Tire. I was telling the council members, I was walking through Canadian Tire yesterday, and they hit me hard, dude. Yes. I'm not kidding you. I mean, I'm hearing on the loud. I didn't clap. No. I didn't clap, but I paused.
Okay.
I paused and collected myself because some of the hits were playing and some of the best artists were singing it. And I'm like, and listen, and I said, these guys are geniuses. They're geniuses. So my point is, I celebrated Christmas too, man. Don't feel all embarrassed up here, right? So, and a lot of these guys back here, some of them miss Christmas. So, but it was all engineered.
Absolutely.
To keep the children of Israel down. To your point, many people can celebrate Christmas because they don't have our God.
Right.
So they're allowed to do that. They're allowed to have reindeers that fly in the sky. They're allowed to have a guy that comes down the chimney and eats their cookies and drink their milk. Right? They do offerings and stuff. They're allowed to take a tree from wherever it is and deck it. But Jeremiah 10 tells me and you and the children of Israel that we should not do that.
Right.
But a lot of our people, I remember growing up, and I remember, unlike you who was shy to talk about your Christian past, I remember growing up, and I remember my uncle would buy the ham.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the hardcore, dude.
Oh, man. Yeah, we never had that.
No, hardcore.
We never had that.
The whole ham in a net.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they would bring the ham, and I was living in Trinidad at that time. They would bring the ham because it's part of the celebration. And before he brings it to the house, and I've said this story before, he would get like rum, and they would pour it on the ham. Wow. And as little kids, we used to stand over it, and we used to see the little maggot thingy, all the little maggot thingy come to the top. But then we used to kill it. We would bake it, and then we would kill it, dude, with homemade bread, right? With homemade bread. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I can talk about my past. I'm not like you.
Yeah, but we never had the ham.
Oh, you didn't have ham? What'd you have?
They would normally get the turkey.
Ah.
Yeah.
I hated turkey because it was so dry. It was really dry.
Oh, man. Cranberry sauce. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, guys, you guys are missing out the commentary from the audience. Elder Freddie says the cranberry sauce was the thing. And the gravy. I hated turkey. My house didn't have a whole lot of turkey, but again, turkey, ham, why was that something that you and I and a lot of our children of Jacob swear by when it comes to, and then you start to realize that the Hellboys the Hellboys got a plan. And the plan is they don't want you, because I asked you in the beginning if you got superpowers, and you denied it or something like that, right? They don't want you to get to your superpowers, dude. They don't want you to get to your superpowers. So that is the reason why it's there, and we gotta be aware. Like right now, a lot of the children of Jacob, the Jacobites, people who came on the slave ships, are running out there, getting trees, decorating trees, putting gifts under it, leaving cookies and milk for some guy to come down their chimney to eat. They're praying to a Jesus who they say is born on December the 25th. They're doing all these manner of things, and they can't understand why we are not growing, why we're not climbing up in the world. And don't tell me, my wife Sophie was telling me about, well, you know, people are doing great and stuff like that. And I said, well, who? What? LeBron James? Not even 1/10. Not even 1/10. Right? Just a handful of people they sprinkle around and say, oh, why are we talking about slavery? Look how great we're doing. No, the majority of our people is still in slavery. Maybe the chains are not on our hands. Maybe the chains are not on our feet. But our people is shackled. 100%. Do you agree?
Mentally and spiritually.
Mentally and spiritually.
Yep, absolutely.
What would you say spiritually?
Spiritually, because they're still eating the pork, the ham, that keeps your spirituality down. They're still partaking in Thanksgiving, Halloween, all these pagan holidays. If they could only see the true meaning of these things, like do some research. Why am I doing this? Oh, my parents did it, but why is your parents doing it? Keep digging to find out why it's happening. Why are you doing them? Find out the very beginning of where it started. And
I really like this guy as my guest today. Yeah. Oh, we got lots to cover, Elder Elvis. We got lots to cover. I'm going to continue with verse 6 on Psalms 140. It says, I said unto the Lord, thou art my God. To your point. David knew his God. Absolutely. And his God was not the God of the world or the God of the nations, right? So I said unto the Lord, thou art my God. Hear the voice of my supplications, O Lord. O Lord, O God the Lord, the strength of my salvation, thou hast covered my head in the day of battle. Grant not, O Lord, the desires of the wicked. Further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves, Selah. As for the head of those that compass me about, let the mischief of their own lips cover them. Let burning coals fall upon them. Let them be cast into fire, into deep pits, that they rise not up again. Let not an evil speaker be established in the earth. Evil shall hunt the violent man to overthrow him. I know that the Lord will maintain the cause of the afflicted and the right of the poor. Surely the righteous shall give thanks unto thy name. The upright shall dwell in thy presence, Selah, and Selah. Amen.
Amen. Absolutely.
So listen, you know, even when you have a physical person, sure, that may be, you know, you've had experiences where you kind of bump into certain people and you're like, they hate me and I don't know why. Yeah, anyone ever had a situation like that? Yeah. Show of hands. Spirit just don't take that. Yeah, but they hate you. I'm not even saying, hey, we just feel funny, but there's people who just hate you on first interaction. Yeah. And all the interactions you have with them, you're wondering, why do they, well, like, why? So, Hellboys we're talking about, correct? Mm-hmm. Hellboys always look for a host. You know, like viruses always look for a host. Yeah. Hellboys look for a host. Right. And that host is a body. They always got to find a body or bodies, right? And these are the kind of things that manifest in certain people. And you're like, why does this person hate me so much? They don't even know me. They've only met me for 20 minutes. But every interaction, you know, they wish that you were blown to pieces, or they wish you never existed, and you don't know why. it's a manifestation. It's an angry manifestation that is happening, that there uses host to do what they need to do. Sometimes they are seen and sometimes they are unseen.
That's right.
But both the seen and the unseen, you've got to know how to protect yourself as the children of Israel. And why I say that, you see how David approached this, Elder Elvis.
Right.
He called upon his God. He prayed to his God. You know, a lot of brethren come to me, or I hear it in passing, and they will be like, you know, Elder Handel, I'm going through the roughest time of my life.
Oh, man.
Right? And they say, I'm going through the roughest time of my life. And then I say, is that why I haven't seen you in 16 years? Right? And they're like, yeah, man, I'm just going through the roughest time of my life. And I'm like, well, if I haven't seen you in 16 years, in 16 years you're going through the roughest time of your life, you don't think that coming to the temple of God would have helped you to get out of the rough patch earlier than 16 years?
And I never get that, because you know where your strength is.
Do you?
I do, right here at the nation.
Well, you do. You do, yeah.
But they knew too at the very beginning. So if you knew where your strength is, and if you're going through some rough times, where's the first place that should pop up into your mind? Why are they not seeking where it all started, where they get their strength? Because the longer you stay away from here, the more it's going to actually get worse, actually. So as much as you may think I'm going through hell, but actually that's the best time to come here.
But don't bring hell.
But don't
here,
bring
right?
hell.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, I get that too. Sometimes some of the guys would be saying, I'm going through some bad things. I said, well, why are you not at the nation?
Yeah.
They go, I can't, man. I'm going through. But that's the best time to come.
And we're talking to everyone too who's listening, right? Like it is hard. Some people deal with situations different. Everyone deals with things differently, right? So some people they get paralyzed from the trouble they're going through. They get paralyzed. They put the blanket over their head. They turn the lights off. They close the blinds, and they I don't know. They
give up.
pray to Jesus or something.
Right.
I don't know. But they don't come out of their room. They give up. They give up. They're paralyzed. Even for those individuals, I would say like find a strength. Find a strength, right? Find a strength and make the effort. Because the only way, because you may be thinking it's just the environment you're in or circumstances that's causing you to be the way you are. But again, you're not looking at, as we're talking about, the hell boys.
Right.
They're not seeing the hell boys keeping and dragging them down. The hell boys putting stumbling blocks in their path, laying snares and traps.
Exactly.
They're not seeing that. So the minute you start to snap out and say, hey, and I'm telling you guys, I'm not telling you something that I'm just talking about, Elder Elvis, and you, I pinch myself on a regular basis, and I say, wait a minute, is that the hell boys talking? No, seriously, is that the hell boys talk? That's hell boys talk, right? You got to pinch yourself on a regular basis to snap out, to snap. And if you don't, you're going to think it's just you. You're going to think it's normal. And the more you think it's you and normal is the more they've actually got you in their snare. I'm telling you this. And that's why I am shouting, and Elder Elvis is shouting from not the mountaintop, but from the stage on the table, that beware of the hell boys.
Absolutely.
I want to read something. You mind?
Yeah.
1 Peter chapter 5. I'm going to read, Elder Elvis, verses 6 to 9. So 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 to 9. It says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him. We just talked about that, right? For he careth for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
Absolutely.
Let's take our time there. I got Chris's attention. I got Chris's attention, guys. This is a good. Sorry?
1 Peter, what is it?
I read the wrong thing?
No.
Oh, no, I said 1 Peter
Peter.
chapter 5. Yeah, 6 to 9. Yeah. Elder Cheryl, did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. No, even Sophie was like, what verses? I'm like, oh, geez, maybe I didn't.
No, you did. You're good.
Okay, I did. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you,
'cause I
man.
found
Thank you. So 1 Peter 5, verses 6 to 9. I'll read it again. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God. And I'm going to say the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, right? That he may exalt you who are going through whatever you're going through in due time. What does that mean? Patience. And you got to have a lot of patience, dude. Okay? Casting all your care upon him. And I also hear that from brethren. Oh, I feel guilty. I feel guilty going to the God of Israel and asking him for stuff. I feel guilty. I feel guilty, Priest Andal, for praying all the time about the same things. And I feel like this.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah, please.
So we earthly dads, moms, when your children want something, what do? They pester you. They're not stopping until they get what they want. So, I mean, that's an example of how you should be to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. If you want something, you can't just say one time. Yeah. My children comes to me one time, ask me, it's like, yeah. And they don't really want it. But if you really, really want it, you have to keep asking until you get it. Because it says, ask and you shall receive.
Is that true, Joab? The more you ask, he gives it to you? It depends. Okay.
Smart boy.
Verse 8 says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. You guys, any Animal Planet or any type of wilderness TV show watchers in here?
Yeah.
Oh, well, put your hand up.
Yeah.
They're pointing at him. All right, we were talking about even let's talk about buffaloes. If the lion pride is on a hunt, they would look either for the smallest or the one that has a limp. Any buffalo has a little limp, they strategically knows how to cut them off from the flock. And that's the one. The strong male bull with horns out here is a high risk for a lion.
Right.
High risk of being wounded or potentially dying. Seriously.
Absolutely.
But the small little one or the adult with a limp is the one they square off and they devour. So if there is, and I'll tell you this, the one that has a limp also, if he is surrounded by the adults with huge horns and healthy, his chance of survival increases tremendously.
Yep.
So you think if you are that wounded animal in the flock right now, and you're limping, and you're alone somewhere, the lions are going to devour you, 100%. But if you put yourself smack in the middle of some strong bulls, your survival rate goes way, 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 way up. That's the way you have to see things from just a nature standpoint. That's how you get protection. That's why if you're out there limping and you're on your own, we may never see you again.
True. You know, Priest Andal, that verse 8 reminded me of something about in Job.
Yeah.
When the sons of God were called upon to meet up with God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he met up with Lucifer, and he says, so where you been? And he said, I've been up and down, to and fro, walking the earth. So here you see it, he's roaming about looking for
Awesome
people.
point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome point. I mean, that scripture says, I'm to and fro in the earth. But this scripture says he's looking to see who he may devour.
Right.
Right? So you connect both. And who he may devour, is, to your point, it's not those that are already under his spell. It's those that actually are holding fast to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to the laws, the statutes, and commandments. Because the threat against this system, the threat is the truth. The Christ says, I'm not come to bring peace. but a sword to divide. Father against the son, mother against daughter. How is that possible? And people don't really understand that scripture, right? They don't really understand that divide, that I didn't come to bring peace, because once you get this truth and your eyes open and your ears open, you're probably the only one in your family. Among all your blood family, you're probably the only one. So there's a divide. Now you aren't going to be like your past, going onto the Christmas tree and hurry for presents like you used to do, Elder Elvis. Now you're like, hey guys, I can't be at Christmas.
Right.
You know, my first Christmas away from my blood family was one of the toughest things, my
Did they
friend.
ostracize you?
No. So
You missed it.
thank you. So my first Christmas away from my blood family was very challenging. I'll tell you why. When we were growing up, my family, I didn't come from I'll be honest, I didn't come from like a busted family background. I'm not gonna lie to you and say, oh man, my life was rough. You know, I didn't come from a busted family. We weren't rich or nothing, but my family was tight, real tight. So Christmas was huge in our home, like huge. Everyone, it's huge. And when I was in Trinidad, we used to go from house to house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we used to go from house to house, and we some pear dracks and my friend treats. As kids, we ate in all of our neighbors' house we ate.
So I could see why you would miss that.
No. Yes. No.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
So when we came to Canada, we didn't do the same house to house. That culture wasn't there, right? But my family would get together and it was a big deal. It was a big deal. So my first Christmas away from the family, because I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, I made a phone call to my mom just to hear her voice, right? Hey, Mom. And I heard my mom just like, yeah, I could hear her voice too, like, gee, like, it's weird without you here, yeah. So what's happening now? We're sitting around the table now going to eat, yeah. All right, okay, bye. I knew I was doing the right thing, but whoa, man, that stuff was deep. That old wine was deep rooted. So like Elder Cheryl says, yeah, I a bit sad, right? And it took year after year before, I gathered my resistance and my strength. Now I don't even think about it, but as I said, I was walking through the mall yesterday, and the Christmas carols
Hit you.
I had to stop for a bit and kind of strengthen myself, right?
You know what, Cristiano?
Yeah.
For me, because of there's so much stuff that we have going on in the nation, that if you don't mention it, I won't remember.
I don't know if I believe that, to be
Trust
honest.
me. Unless you said, oh, it's Halloween's happening. I don't know, because...
Well, where you're living, it all depends where you live. If you're one house all the way like 4 hours away from the city, then I could believe you. But on my street...
It's laced.
Dude, on my street, I would see carved pumpkins in my neighbors. I would see witches, little floaty witches on people's lawn. So I know it's Halloween. I would see houses decorated on my street with reindeers and stuff like that. Where you live, Elder Elvis?
Mississauga, but... No, but here's what I'm trying to say. I see it, but it doesn't strike me.
Oh, okay. I see.
Like, I mean, obviously you see lights decorated, but...
Did you ever did Halloween? I didn't ask you that. Did you ever do Halloween?
Yeah.
You went trick-or-treating?
Just for a short while.
It's not short.
Oh my goodness.
What were you dressed as?
Nothing. We're dressed.
Get a fun costume. Just went out with our bags.
Yeah, true. We just went out straight with the bag, door to door.
Elder Freddie says they couldn't afford costumes. That's why they went out as is.
And the bags used to get loaded too.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. But yeah, I mean, me too, by the way. Me too, right? So, but again, we were ignorant, my friend.
Yeah.
Like we were, It's not like we were out there doing the things that we're talking about, knowing the God of Israel.
Right.
Right? We were ignorant. But I'm telling you, in the system that's been set up is to make sure you don't get back to where you need to get back to. Why? You know what I mean? It's a system specifically set up for that. And it's controlled by
the Hellboys.
Yes, sir. Right on cue.
What? It's getting worse and worse and worse.
Why you say so?
Well, back in our days, we didn't have we kind of had one of the alphabet people.
Oh, you're going there.
But now it's everywhere.
He's going there. We're going to have to edit this one out, guys.
I know.
We're going to have to, I know it's live TV. They probably got a 5-second delay. But I hear you. But let's skip that one for another day, right?
Sounds good.
But I hear you.
But other than that, though, I mean, everything, they're making things happening from, I guess, the January to December or whatever. They're trying to put stuff in the middle of summer.
Like what?
I mean, there's all these celebrations that they want to inject in that makes you drift. It's a distraction to distract people from actually, particularly the Jacobites, from discovering who they really are and who their God is and what they're supposed to be doing. So there's always a distraction towards them to steer them away, as you said, to put up stumbling blocks, snares, whatever it is. It's just to make sure that you don't wake up at all.
But to your point, right? If you look at just the things that are manifesting in the world today, it looks worse than when you and I were in our childhood years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does. To your point, things just look a little bit more crazy and bizarre. You know what I mean? So then you can see the activity of the Hellboys increasing as if there's going to be some kind of a climax. Right? So as they are busy growing, then we've got to ask ourselves, I guess, what are we doing? You get where I'm going?
What are we,
Like as you see, they are mobilizing. That's what that is. They are mobilizing. Then the question would be, what are we doing? What are we doing?
We got to dig deeper into our culture, dig deeper into keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. You got to dig deeper into making sure that, especially the children, or at least this generation, understand who they are and their purpose. And that is, they have to serve the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob in spirit and in truth. And the only way you could do that is to try and immerse them really into the culture so that when they do the culture, it becomes part of you naturally. So by doing the culture and keeping it, you could read the scriptures and see, oh, I understand that. Because it comes out at you because, oh, I just did that yesterday. And the more you do that, the easier it is for you to understand what you're supposed to do as an Israelite.
I like my guest. I really like him.
Thank you.
Let's go to Zechariah 3.
Zechariah 3.
It's kind of what you said earlier, that Satan was among them, and then he said he's going to and fro in the earth, right? So Zechariah chapter 3, it says, and he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. Wow. So you got a high priest, which is an Israelite, trying to do what he should be doing, which is the right thing, but there's resistance that you can't see with your naked eye. But what is being explained to Zechariah and what his eyes are made open to see is there is the high priest, Joshua, and I am seeing beside him Satan on his right hand trying to do what? Resist him. So Satan could be anywhere.
Yeah.
But he chose to be
at the pinnacle.
He chose to be at the right hand of the Israelite high priest. He could have been anywhere. I heard there were sightings with him in the Vatican and other places.
Wow.
That's what I heard. I heard they had some Satan sightings in Vatican,
So they could see
other
him.
places. I'm just saying. But here he is now at the right hand of the high priest, not to be there and watch, but to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord that has chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? This morning, Elder Michael was talking about the Statue of Liberty, and he talked about the flame. And Elder Michael kind of broke it down really fast that that person took a flame from where they were casted down. And then you're seeing, aren't you, a brand plucked out of the fire, and the Lord rebuke you. Like why, man? Why? Why always when I choose a people? Why always when I choose those to restore my temple and do my laws, my statutes and commandments, you are right there. They can't catch a break.
No, he's always trying to disrupt.
Yeah, they can't catch a break. So listen, so we talked about Christmas, we talked about Halloween, right? And keep in mind, and I'll say this on record, we're not disrespecting anyone that is keeping Halloween or that celebrates Christmas. Our job is to reach out to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It's our job, meaning our people.
That's right.
Okay? Our job is to teach our people their rightful ways and their culture. And not only our people, but anyone on the earth that truly wants to serve our God. It is our job to teach you. And if you want to be an Israelite and keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, keeping things like Christmas, keeping things like Halloween, keeping things like Easter, keeping things like...
Valentine's Day.
Well, we can't keep Valentine's Day.
No? By the way, if you...
So, Sophie, we got to stop. Sophie.
But by the way, you know,
Yeah.
pretty much everything that you mentioned is
Yeah.
always going back to worshiping the dead.
Talk to me.
Every
Yeah, talk
single
to me.
one of these things
Yeah.
has to deal with the dead.
All right, tell me more.
So if you...
Yeah.
The Valentine's Day, it's going back to worshiping some guy, and it's a dead person that you're paying homage to. The Christmas, going all the way back to Nimrod. You know, these things. Halloween, obviously, the dead. So, I mean, I can't get any clearer than that.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think Halloween, to those listening, probably the easiest one to link to the dead, right? When it comes to December 25th, they may struggle with that, linking it to the dead. When it comes to Easter or January, linking it to the dead. But, you know, high-level discussion is that if you look at all the old places of worship, specifically Christianity, they're built over catacombs. Anyone ever been in a catacomb? Okay. So there are places, catacombs are underground. They're underground, number one. And they're where they had buried the dead. So you can, if you want, you can go on you can get a tour if you want to do it. I don't know. What kind of vacations you like, Dwayne?
I like vacations.
Okay, all right. But if you ever want to get all unique with your vacation, you can actually take a tour through catacombs. And you walk, it seems like for almost an hour. And all you're doing is walking, and when you look at your left, you're seeing skulls and just bones. Skulls and bones. And people pose up. People pose up with this. No, I'm telling you, they pose up with skull and bones. They take selfies. The tour guide tells them about the fossils and it's just a tunnel of all skeletons. Okay, that's what a catacomb is. Above that, so that's you go down is all underground. Above that is all the big places of worship. Oh yeah. The biggest places of worship are built on top of those. And some of those skulls and whatnot is used at their altar. So to Elder Elvis's point, it's nasty. I'm going to use my word. It's nasty to summarize what you're saying.
Yeah, it is.
Right? So that is the truth. And I don't know, Ezekiel's looking at me, but Ezekiel, if you're not trying to go to Arabia for your summer vacation, you can go to these places and you can have a tour guide show you all the catacombs, man. And you can pose up with all kinds of skeletons and stuff like that. And then for bonus, you can go upstairs and light a candle in one of the cathedrals. You're good? Okay. All right. Well, know that that's an option to you, Ezekiel. And no one freaks out about that. You know, you see tourists, Malachi, you see tourists taking selfies with skulls and bones. Like, I mean, thousands, man, thousands. And no one freaks out. It's cute. It's how old do you think it is? Right? How old do you think this one is? How old do you think it is?
But in that alone, you could see the hellboys at work to make it think it's normal and to desensitize you from the fact that it's so unclean, it's so dirty. Why would you want to be posting up with dead stuff? And everybody think, oh yeah, I got to go to I've been in Vatican, the catacombs, and I got to get some selfie, and they post it on the social media, and it becomes like normal.
You know, to your point, they probably think it's holy.
Right. Yeah. Because it's in Vatican.
That's right. They probably think it's holy. And Elder Freddie.
So for those of us who have connections to, like, say, a place like Jamaica, where, you know, in the country area, they bury the dead, like, in front before you get to the house or even before you get into the shrine. I mean, that's not the Vatican, right? So how do we say that there's something wrong with that, considering that's how we grew up?
No, thank you. Thank you for highlighting that, because, again, a lot of these practices that the Church of Jacob has taken on, to Elder Freddie's point, you know, when Abraham sought to bury Sarah, it was, you bury out of your sight. You bury out of your sight, right? You find a cave somewhere, you got to drive 4 hours to get to it. Out of your sight. But to Elder Freddie's point, if you use the island of Jamaica as an example, there are a lot of homes that have integrated the living with the dead. Yeah. Whether you have the grave in the front or whether you have the grave in the back, but they have integrated the living with the dead. And we know as Israelites that a dead body among our midst will render you and I unclean.
That's right.
Right? We're unclean. So again, it's to prevent the children of Jacob from ever rising. You're perpetually, again, we don't have the chains around our hands, nor around our feet, the physical chains. But it's there.
It's there.
It's there. You can't, you know, listen, jerk pork is also on the menu. Jerk pork is a high item on the menu. Like, all of these things is just keeping us down. We were talking about some interesting foods today. The council members, some interesting food. And again, guys, if you've had this online, you can put your hands up. We're talking about people who eat iguana. Have you had iguana? Chris, I know Chris has had iguana.
Oh, wow.
No. Chris has had iguana for sure.
Oh, wow.
Laba? Anyone had laba? What's going on in this room? Everyone is lying. Everyone here is lying.
To fess up.
All right, fine. Could I get someone who's had something really interesting to eat that's not on the clean menu in your life? Snake? You had snake? Okay, we got a snake. We got a snake. How was it?
I didn't know. I'm asking.
Oh, you're asking. Oh, rabbit is not really crazy. Shark? Okay, Cheryl says shark. Sorry guys, Elder Cheryl said shark. Who had, you had octopus?
Wow.
Okay, so we got an octopus.
Rabbit.
Rabbit. Rabbit is not, yeah.
Conch?
Yeah, conch, yeah, that's.
You know what that
that's
is?
Snail, it's a slippery, slimy.
It's stuff that's in the ocean, those big shells where you see them blow those horns. It's that slimy, slippery thing. And people don't know what conch is, so those fancy.
I got you. Is that it? Of interesting. Who had frogs? Are you asking? You've had frogs and snakes. Okay.
Wow.
So you got someone who's had frogs and snakes.
Tina Jackson online has said squirrel and gator.
Squirrel.
Tina, talk to us. Was it the squirrel sweet meat? Was it sweet and tender? Let us know, please. If the squirrel was sweet and how did you have it? Do you roast it? Do you stew it? Please let us know, Tina. You've had that? You've had that? I'm not gonna say that. You've had that? That's what I'm not gonna say. Yeah, that one I'm not gonna say. Oh, wow. Guys, my point is, Elder Elvis, the point is, we laugh now. We laugh. One thing Elder has said is that you need to reminisce.
What did you
have? So Lorna says she can't roll with us.
No.
All she's had all her life was lamb and chicken. Lorna?
Wait a minute. What about shrimps, crabs? Lorna, have you had crabs or anything like
Only
that?
chicken and lamb. Only chicken and lamb. Yeah.
Still a little meat, he's sick and it looks like cockroaches. Even before Israel, I never.
100%.
Never.
But the reason why we talk about this, for those of you who are here and online, you need to sometimes. There was a brethren this morning that talked about the things that they went through before Israel and how blessed they are to be in Israel. And if you don't walk through those memory lanes, even though sometimes it's painful and embarrassing, you have to sometimes face it. Look in the mirror and says, I came out of slime. They had me in slime. And sometimes that there would get you so wild up that'll make you do more work in this nation.
Very true.
No, I'm telling you,
it
activates a certain thing that I'm going to get them back. I'm going to get them back. I'm going to do work for my Father's kingdom. They did all these things to me all these years. I'm going to get them back. It's payback time.
It is.
Right? And if you don't look at that, if you erase those years, and you're embarrassed to look at it, like the large majority of our people outside is embarrassed to talk about slavery. Why we gotta talk about that? They're embarrassed to talk about slavery. But when you embrace it and you look at it and you study it, you get to realize why we were in the situation we are in the first place.
You know,
and how do you course correct?
If they don't look back and see what they've done, how are you going to create the future?
How?
Because if you don't look back and see your mistakes, how will you learn to avoid that mistake if you don't see what you've done in the past? Because if you look back at the past, you can project where you want to be in the future and stay clear. And if you also want to really get good at things happening in the future, just keep looking back at the past, because the further you look back in the past, the further you'll be in the future.
Wise, man.
No.
Is your name, that's why they call you Elder Elvis?
No. That name was given to me by my parents because my mom loved that guy's music. Period.
Elvis, you're talking about the name Elvis.
Yeah, I'm not lucky like my sons who's got a name out of this book.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm jealous when I hear Joab, Azariah, all these guys, because those are names that, like, I would like to have one of those names.
You know what? Guys, we're having a real moment here. Elvis is telling us the genesis of his name, how it came about. His parents were in love with the performer Elvis, the artist Elvis. But he's saying that his sons have names like Jesse and Joab, right?
Right.
And like, wow, look how powerful it is. Dude, there's nothing preventing you from calling yourself Bar Jesus. like, no. There is nothing preventing you. Should we Bar Jesus from today on, or?
No. You see what happened is I can't go and rename myself.
Oh, okay, but we can name you then.
No, because if you rename me, my spirit gets confused because.
Okay, but I'm saying you're not going to rename yourself, but we can give you a name.
No, the name that I've been given.
You don't like Bar Jesus.
No, it's just not. It's not that. It's just. By the way, that guy was a witch doctor, so I don't. So I don't want that name.
Hey, what's one of your favorite scriptures?
I like Psalms. Hold on, I think it's 30 or 31. Yeah.
Almost got like 15 bookmarks in this Bible.
Yeah.
And stickies.
Psalms 30.
All right, say a couple things in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
It says, I will extol thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up and hast not made my foes to rejoice over me. O Lord my God, I cried unto thee, and thou hast healed me. O Lord, thou hast brought up my soul from the grave. Thou hast kept me alive, that I should not go down to the pit.
Dude. Right? That's what we're talking about. Like, our soul is kept alive today. You know, I was saying to, and you think about your journey coming into Israel. Right. Think about that. I often say the story that I remember when I first came to Canada, and I don't know, I was probably like 10, and we're all bike riding, me and my two older brothers, and we were riding in the park. And I just remember there was a white guy standing he was in his bike, but he was right where the forest starts. There's a forest starts. And he had said to me that he lost his puppy, and if I can go and help him find his lost puppy. And as a little kid, I first kind of turned my bike to ride into the forest with him, but then I pressed my brake, you know, because I hear my mom's voice in my head, you know, you don't
Right.
do stranger stuff.
And
then I kind of said no, and I turned around, I bike pedaled fast home. And it's only when I got home and I sat down and I was telling my mom, is I realized that this guy didn't have no lost puppy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I would have been dead in the woods. You get my point?
Yeah.
So when you start to reflect all these little things along the way, your psalm there, like the God of Israel's protected me, protected you, protected all those that are here. Huh?
Why are you here?
I'm not sure. Maybe to torment people.
No.
I got one clap for that. Maybe to torment people. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Right.
Like there's so many of these kind of things that I remember that, man, they were close. Hellboys were there. Hellboys were there very early in my life. Very early, Hellboys were there to resist what you and I should become for our Father.
Right.
And they don't leave. It's like you cast out that unclean spirit from a man, the Christ says. That unclean spirit then leaves the house of that man, meaning his vessel. And he roams for a little bit. And if he comes back and finds the house still empty but furnished and nice, he brings 7 of his friends, more wicked than him,
right,
to sit in the house. So today, I'm Johnny. And then he said, "Oh, Johnny, what do you like? What do you like? You want your favorite meal?" Yes. And Johnny's favorite meal is steak and mashed potatoes. And then in the evening, I'm Tyrone. What's Tyrone's favorite meal, rice and peas, oxtail. And people say, well, he's got a brain disorder, mental illness, or he's got multiple personalities. We got to medicate him. But they can't see, again, the unseen using that body as a host. And then sometimes at nighttime, that same individual will dress up in a skirt and go to those places and dance in those kind of clubs. And they're like, this guy's got he's just mental illnesses. But he's got like 4 or 5 people that are actually there. And whichever one is strongest at that time takes control, and that's what you have.
That's right. And they have no clue. They keep thinking, he's just split here and he needs this and that.
He needs meds.
And they all rely on this technology or medical technology to try and say that's what we got to use to cure him. Not understanding that it's a spiritual disease and it's got to be dealt with spiritually, not through physical stuff.
And as you say that, there are so many diseases or conditions that have been misclassified and diagnosed that are uniquely spiritual. They are uniquely spiritual, but people don't, again, they a lot. I don't know if people are getting more spiritual aware. I mean, Tamar tells me she thinks they are. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I think they are, because with the advancement of technology and the fact that information is now out there and almost everybody has access to it. You could be in the far reaches of the Sahara Desert, but as long as you have a smartphone and maybe a satellite phone, you're connected. Mm-hmm. So people have it. Even in their most remote places on the planet, there's technology. So people are searching and they get more aware.
Yeah.
But it's to get the right stuff, though, is the problem.
Yeah. Well, you want to read you want to read some more or what?
On Psalms 30.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Let me continue.
Yeah.
I'll start from verse 4.
Yeah.
Sing unto the Lord, O ye saints of his, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness. For his anger endureth but a moment. In his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And in my prosperity I said, I shall never be moved. Lord, by thy favor thou hast made my mountain to stand strong. Thou didst hide thy face, and I was troubled. I cried to thee, O Lord, and unto the Lord I made supplication. What profit is there in my blood when I go down to the pit? Shall the dust praise thee? Shall it declare thy truth? Hear, O Lord, and have mercy upon me. Lord, be thou my helper. Thou hast turned from me my mourning into dancing. Thou hast put off my sackcloth and girded me with gladness, to the end that my glory may sing praise to thee and not be silent. O Lord my God, I will give thanks unto thee forever. Selah and Selah. Amen.
Why is that one of your favorite?
It kind of sums up everything that I've gone through and what I need help with and where I need to go. And the fact that you have to give glory and thanks and praise to him.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Let's go to 1 Chronicles, chapter 21. 1 Chronicles, chapter 21. And I'm going to read from verse 1. And your favorite person is in verse 1 again,
wow.
Your friend. And Satan stood up against Israel.
We have no connections, no association. He's on my black, he's on that list where he's not even getting invited for anything.
He doesn't need an invitation.
And that's the problem.
See,
that's the problem.
This is what people don't understand, right? Like, you may need to invite the guy who, as Elder used to call it, like, they plant yam and they plant banana and they were farmers. You may need to invite them by going to the grave and doing things. But Satan doesn't need an invitation.
No, he doesn't.
He go to and fro. He go to and fro.
This is his playground.
Yeah. He doesn't need an invitation. And that's what people don't really get, right? Like, the Christianity would teach you that you have all the power over him. Christianity would tell you that you can just say, "Get thee behind me, Satan." Christianity would tell you that he is a guy who looks like you or me with a tail. And I do mean that. I've seen images with like, hey, wait a minute. They got Lucifer as a black guy. That's a black guy.
Don't
right?
forget the horns.
And horns. Yeah, but he's black like you, and
wow.
he's black. And I'm like, wow, no one protests this stuff, right? And he's just running around in fire and poking people all day. That's what Christianity would like us to believe, right? But the fact is, he is far stronger than that. He doesn't need an invitation. We have to pray. We here have to pray. This flock, right? And those who will join the flock, pray that there's hedges of fire round about us as we go. Pray that he can't get through the hedges of fire. But the only one that can put that kind of a fire, hedgery fire, is the God of Israel.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the only way. If you guys are thinking of how do you combat, like Gideon, if you're thinking as a young guy, like how do I combat the Hellboys? Because Elder Andel is saying that I wouldn't even know if they're even present. They're so subtle. They're so subtle in my life, laying snares and guiding me in a way that I shouldn't be going. If I start to see that I'm moving away from this doctrine or away from this family, or I start to do things that the boys are doing on the outside and running around and doing crime or whatever it is, pinch yourself and say, you know what? Elder Handel was talking about these Hellboys, and maybe it is the Hellboys that is influencing me to do the things that I am doing right now, right? So it's awareness that needs to happen. Like if our young folks are not aware that we're living in uniquely spiritual life, it's going to be very difficult for you to survive in this world. Straight talk. If our young peoples are not aware that we're living a uniquely spiritual life, it will be very difficult for your survival rate. When I mean survival rate, I mean your Israelite life. It'll be very, very difficult because you are a prize. You are what he is after. The older folks, I'm not saying you're not a prize. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that you guys are not a prize.
It's just that they are, but it's harder to wean them over because they understood and they understand that, hey, this is where I need to be. Whereas with the younger generation, these guys got the screen. I gotta go with my friend party.
Oh, there's so many.
I gotta go out here. I gotta do
We call it distractions,
the
right?
distraction.
We call it that, but it's snares.
It's a
plots,
snare.
It's skins.
And it's easy for them because they've never experienced it like you and I have. What's been out there.
That's
and
true.
We coming in, understanding that we're not going back out there.
That's true.
But they've never been out there, so they don't understand that. Listen, and even though you may speak to them all and tell them over and over, don't go out there, don't go out there. They're just so curious, and it's so hard for them to get satisfied from your words. And they need to feel that they got to experience it to get it. They said, man, I got to experience it. I got to get my own experience. But that own experience is going to cost you, and you may not come back. That's the problem. They may not come back after, which is what's happening to the ones that has left.
100%.
That is what has happened.
No, 100%.
They went out to get the experience, but they haven't returned. Why? Because it's so alluring.
Yeah.
And like you're so distracted that you can't even find your way back. Period.
Could you go find some of them for us and bring them back home?
I don't even know. And even if you tried, they're going to reject you anyway. Just like I think when Abraham says, and if they knew what the prophets and rich man and Lazarus says, and even if you send one from the dead, they're still not going to believe you anyway.
Yeah.
Wow, that went dark. I was trying to get some hope, you know, like I will go and I will find them and bring them back. It just went real dark.
I'm sorry, but
we got a question or a comment coming from our good friend Hilaire. What's happening?
Yeah, just a quick comment regarding the looking for the children to come back. Even the most powerful man, Michael Jackson, at the end of his time, he knew that whatever he was there, he needed to find the God of Israel because he was rich, he had everything, but at the end of his life, he knew that whatever it was, that's not life.
Dude, you said something. So, you want to hear a story, man?
Yeah. Fire.
All right. So, true story, by the way. I'm not even going to add a little bit of Hollywood to this. This is going to be real 100%. So, so check this out. I'm going to say the name wrong on camera, but it's a gastropy or scopy or something like that. Say gastrostopy. Wow.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Wow. So I had that procedure last week Friday at the hospital. Is where they put a camera down your throat to your stomach and kind of look around just to make sure, it's standard stuff. But they put you out.
Right.
They put you out, right?
Because you feel like you'd be choking if
Okay, yeah, 100%.
Right.
So they put me out. Boom. All right, you're gonna be okay. Right, I'm gone. Dark. I mean, dark. And then as they're bringing me back, so you gotta lean to a side. So my left side is where they say you gotta lean like this.
Right.
Then they have the stuff. But anyway, everything's out, and they're waking me back up now. And as I'm looking, I see a figure, a lady figure, right? And the lady figure is right beside the bed there. So I'm like, hey! Normally, Elder Elvis,
Right.
when I do, hey, it starts to dissolve and go away, right? So I'm looking, I'm like, this one's different.
Yeah.
I can see the whole body. And I'm looking around the room and I'm like, I'm awake.
Yeah.
Then I heard, why are you yelling at me?
Oh, wow.
So I snapped back and I realized it's the nurse. And she's like, why are you yelling at me? I said, I'm so sorry. I thought you were a ghost. Right? She says, and you were hitting me. I said, I am so sorry. But I thought you were, I'm being honest, I thought you were a ghost. So,
They have to expect that. When
they have to expect that.
When you're coming out, you have to expect those.
So I said, I apologize, right? And then Sophie and Tamar says, you know what? She's lucky that she wasn't like at my bed foot, the foot of the bed, because they know me. Like I'm gonna kick hard. Like anything look duppy-ish, jumbie-ish, my reflex is just I kick hard. So I'm like, you know what? Next time I go and they gotta put me out, seriously, I'm gonna just give them forewarning. Like when you're bringing me back, just stay some distance, because I do go through some experiences and stuff like that. But she got offended a little bit because I said I thought when you say ghost, people think it's evil. I'm calling her evil and like scary. I said, no. She goes, I've heard angel, but I've never heard anyone call me a ghost. I said, I just mean like a spirit stuff, But okay, never mind. And she said, this is one for the books. So her boss came into the room, and she gave her boss a story. He called me a ghost, and he was hitting me. Then Tamar came, and she told Tamar the story. So Tamar started to laugh. Tamar says, she's lucky she really wasn't at the edge of the bed, because Dad kicks, right? But before Dwayne goes, so Hilaire, check this out. I said, wow, that stuff put me out. I was sleeping. Put that in a bottle for me so I can take it home and sleep and stuff. She goes, you don't want to be like Michael Jackson. I said, what do you mean? So no, I said, what do you mean? He goes, this is how he died. Michael Jackson would go under every night.
Oh, wow.
I never knew that. So he had his own doctor. So every night, Michael Jackson would actually get gassed and go under. What a freak. No. But what Hilaire was saying, like all that riches. Wow, for a guy to use that every night. I don't even know. I mean, you gotta like do an IV, and you gotta
He has his own
Wow.
hyperbolic
Yes.
chamber.
That's
Oh,
what
wow.
Sophie was saying. That's why he had all those things. Yeah. Dude, that's rough. That's rough. Dwayne?
That's like torture or hell.
Yes, I have two questions.
Yes.
For Elder Abbas, I want to know how, or either of you, how do you bring back somebody who's, someone who's left? And I say that, because I'm experiencing that myself. I just want to know, is there a way that, those who, we've seen many who've gone. I just think that sometimes it's a very tough pill to swallow when it's one of your own, and they've left. Do you just accept the fact that you were saying earlier that they're gone? You can't bring them back. What can be done, to bring them back to what they've known, what they were raised in, what, because sometimes the things out there are more tempting to desire. And some have left. What can you do? Is there anything that can be done? That's my first question.
So-
And the second question I want just to stick a pin in that is, upon what you've been discussing earlier, do you two believe that we Israelites are physical beings that have spiritual experiences, or are we spiritual beings that have physical? So
I love these questions.
So
I'll let you deal with the last one.
No.
I'll deal with the first one.
I was going to do the first one. So the first one, if I'm correct, is somebody's, you want to bring them back. How do we start by bringing them back into the nation? Right. So start with as they say, start with small things, such as introduce them to short videos of what we used to do. Because we used to have some short 6-7 minute videos of the nation. Introduce them to those ones, because again, if you put the 2-hour stuff like what we do, it's too much. So start with short things, and then introduce bit by bit the culture, such as we're not going to do this year. Try and steer them to as much of the culture as possible. Even simple things such as, I don't know, if you're going home at night, you know what to do. You ask them questions. A lot of the times when you ask somebody questions, it makes them think and ponder, and they don't have the answer. They're going to ask you, and that starts a conversation to drill and dig deeper. It's pretty much give them questions to ponder back. So start with small things. That's my suggestion.
And this is your response is, like Dwayne says, those that were here that are out, you're saying to get them back in is to send them videos?
Introduce them to those short videos. If you're meeting them regularly, you talk things of, hey, you know what has happened to me today? I was in this situation, and because
Malachi
I
is
prayed.
looking at you like, I'm not sure if that's going to help, to be honest. I'm just telling you, I'm reading Malachi, and he's like, I don't know if that's going to do it. Yeah?
If I
Yeah.
may suggest,
Yeah.
as opposed to a video, you have to have a real heart-to-heart conversation with that person, and that person has to let you know that they want to come back. And I think it starts from there. It starts from that desire from that person, the inner person, because if you get a confirmation from that, then you can work with that. But if the person doesn't see it, doesn't recognize it, if they're good where they're at, nothing you can do can convince them to come back. They have to at least give you some sort of indication first, and then you can work with that. But
I'm hearing people saying 100% to your
Yeah.
comment. Thank you, Elder Freddie, and thank you for the question, Dwayne. But yeah, I mean, you're to your point, right? I mean, there are many avenues you can take. So for you, would be kind of sending them short videos. That may work for some, but then, to Elder Freddie's point, if they don't really care to even be here, all right, like,
yeah, because this
yeah,
this is a journey, right?
yeah.
What we do is, it's not cut and dry. Some people it might seem like that, but this is a journey that we're on, and you have to understand that. And on this journey, there are pitfalls, and there are pitfalls, and there are pitfalls. This is not a journey for the weak or the frail in heart. You really and truly have to be strong. And if you're not strong, it's like what we read earlier. Like, you have lions, and a lion is not something that we might see something on TV, or we might see The Lion King, and we might see animated things, but if something is being referred to as a lion, the king of all the beasts, and a lion is made and built to kill. It's not something you pet.
Yeah.
So that's what we are up against as Israelites, as people who have been chosen by the God of Israel. Like, you have to understand exactly what it was you were selected for, and the selection process that you have is that you have to fortify yourself, because we're talking about thousands of years of people who have gone and haven't made it this far. So nobody has survived the journey except those of us that are here right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue reading. Right, we got.
His second question.
Oh, your second one. I was seeing if I can skip that one. So, as if we are physical people having a spiritual experience, or we were like spirits having a physical existence. Correct? So, think of it this way. This glass, and Elder Freddie did it one time, and he poured water into it or something like that, and showed that the glass is a vessel, and in the glass is spirit, right? From generation to generation, you're gonna get glasses. You're gonna get glasses. But what's in there could have been around for generations before. So to your question, you are a vessel, but inside your vessel is someone who could have been here many tours before. So you're existent, and after your physical is gone, that person inside of you also continues on, right? So the body is really going back to the earth. The body is as they used to say, is food for the worms. So that's why it is it's a great question. That's why it's super important that you don't. I'm not saying you can't be healthy, but the same way people will go to the gym 15 times a day and only eat, oats and have fresh breeze because they believe in purity and physical health. If you took that same discipline and more to your spirit, that is what will benefit you way beyond what you have right now. And that's why it's super important, the question you asked, because the focus for everyone here and those online is to nurture your spirit. Your spirit is what you need to guard. Your spirit is what will help you to navigate you to do the things that you need to do. Because after the flesh goes, it's not the end of you. It's not the end of you. And then where are you going to be? Right? Where are you going to be? And that is the scary part that people don't understand, because you may live to 110 years on this earth, right? But on that side, time has no time. There's no such thing as time.
That's right.
Time governs the physical world. Time governs the physical world. But when that veil is broken and you go through that veil and it closes, there's no concept of time. It seems perpetual, right? And we decide by the things that we do right now and how we live and how we serve the God of Israel, how we keep his law, statutes, and commandments, that we will be like Lazarus, right? That we will be in the bosom of Abraham, that we would be in that place. And the rich man was far away, and he was like, help me. Help. But I can't help you, man. You made your choice. You made your choice when you were alive. So we got to make our choices now, and that's why this message is so important, that we should make choices today. Our spirituality, it doesn't matter how big you grow in the physical world. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the physical world, or how much mansions you have, or how much husbands or how much wives you have, or your possessions. The flesh is going to go one day, and one day that you can't predict. That other area is where you want to make sure you've done whatever you can to minimize your risk of haunting buildings. You don't want to be the guy, you don't want to be the guy that people talk about. Hey, if we go there every night at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m., we'll see him walk into halls. You don't want to be that guy. No. You don't want to be that guy that they do a TV show and they come and they put all their electronics to catch you spooking people in hotels.
Right, right.
You don't want to be that guy. None of you guys want to be that guy. So you got to make decisions now. Elder Tam?
Yeah. So I actually came up here to say something else, but then as you were speaking, my mind just turned, and now there's something else to say. So I guess let me just rewind a little bit just to kind of spin off of what Elder Freddie said in terms of, when people leave or whatever the case may be, and the question may be always like, let's bring somebody back, let's try our best to bring them back. I guess things that we have to think about today is always starting with self. And I think Elder Andel has been saying that for a large part of this lesson. You start with yourself. You can't save anybody. You got to start with yourself. You got to do what you need to do for yourself. And then you have to determine, based on whatever the situation is, whether that situation where that person you may want to come back is worth your effort. Because sometimes it may not be. So you have to be able to discern that depending on how important it is to you. But in all of that, not to say that you shouldn't do it or we shouldn't do it or whatever the case may be, but we have to understand and realize sometimes that when we are wasting our time, we are truly wasting our time on somebody else. Yeah. And that time should be reinvested back into ourselves. And that kind of goes into what you were saying right there with building your spirit, right? We have to build our spirit. We have to be connected to our source. And if we don't build our spirit, we can't connect to our source because it's not physical, it's spiritual.
100%.
Right? The physical, at the end of the day, withers away and it's no more. So if our spirits aren't right, and if our spirits aren't going in the direction they're supposed to be going in order to connect to our spiritual source, we can't help anybody. If that makes sense.
It does.
These are just things I think about.
Yeah.
And then even to take it a little step further, Elder Ando mentioned that, sometimes you don't know what spirit is with a person, who they come with, so to speak, who they're born with, or who's sent for them at any point in their life. And when we become Israelites, if we weren't born into it, and, a lot of us are coming from polluted areas, like, let's just be real, we're polluted with false doctrines, false gods, all these different things. So when you now come and you're learning and you go through all the steps and everything that you have to go through to be an Israelite, things change in your life, hopefully. You make way for a new spirit so that you can connect with the true and living God, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So I guess just to kind of sum it up real quickly, what my point is that because we don't know what spirit is with whom, as Israelites and as brethren, we do need to be careful who we offend, because we don't know who we're offending, right? I could look at Sophie and cuss her off, and I don't know if whoever's with her, who's bigger than her, is hearing what I'm saying, so I'm now creating a negative dig. I'm doing something negative to myself because I don't know what I'm saying to her and how it's impacting whoever is with her or whatever is with her, right? In terms of who could be, I don't know if I'm confusing everybody here, but let's just say, okay, let me just use an elder or a priest, for example. They're in certain arenas. They have to do certain tasks. So for anybody to come and disrespect them, you may not be disrespecting the man. You're disrespecting whatever they have that's helping them to do what they need to do for this people. Same with any child or any one of us. You don't know who you're disrespecting. So I think that's probably why we have to treat our brethren and love each other as we love ourselves, no? Would that kind of make sense? Because what other reason would there be, right? I mean, it's easy to say, but not easy to do. Yes, I'm going to finish. Don't harm me. But sometimes you think about these things in your, and you just kind of think about these things, and sometimes it takes a long time to get to these realizations. It's not like we all have these things right away. But I think as we grow, whether it's from a child, and up, we do need to come to certain realizations that we need to be careful of our words because of how they impact our brethren and how they impact the unseen. And we need to be careful of our actions because we can easily cut that cord from our Father by the things that we do. So again, back to your point, growing our spirit and making sure and doing our best to grow it in the right way and really focus on building ourselves in connection with our Father and with our brethren. I think that will probably help us to get to where we need to be when it's all said and done, hopefully. Probably not an easy task, but that's all we can hope for, right? So that's just my spiel. So anyways, peace.
Thank you, Elder Tam.
Awesome.
And very good points, guys. And sometimes, again, we have the hard conversations, and I would say, Elder Elvis, I always say that I am blessed because my peer group that I have are individuals that really love the God of Israel, and they I mean, every time I sit with them, that's kind of what is injected in me. Just being in their presence, right? It's conversations. Every conversation is something about the God of Israel. It's something about some scripture. So it just nourishes me being in their presence, and part of it too, I would say, is there's a saying that your income is going to be the average income of the 5 people that you hang with most.
I've heard that too.
Right? And there is, if you hang with 10 guys that have a limp, you'll be the 11th or whatever, right? So your circle is important. And I would say, for new brethren coming in, that's one of the things you have to remember, is make sure your circle of influence are not people, to Elder Tammy's point, that are poking and doing and poking and having, don't like this, don't like that, don't like this, don't like that. You can't be 2 days into the nation and do that, right?
Right.
But find individuals that are busy working, and that's how you would maintain. And I would also say, those brethren who are baptized, if you haven't seen the altar in 16 years,
you need to take a trip.
Yeah, you need to get back on your gown and your cord, because we, and I'm just being honest, we don't live a physical. It's not, as much as it may look physical, it isn't. We have to remember who we are. You have to. But I want to read this, because this scripture I read in my house a few years ago, and it's become like Sophie's favorite scripture that she always tries to remind me about and tell me about. Right? So it's Ezekiel 19. We heard we had a prophet Ezekiel this morning that visited us, and we also got a prophet Lewis, I think, that we have. So Ezekiel chapter 19, and this is for the Malachi's. This is for the Hoseas, the Nahums. This is for the Azariahs, the Issachars, the Gideons. This is for the Ezekiels. This is for the Joabs. It says, moreover, from verse 1, take thou up a lamentation for the princes of Israel, and say, what is thy mother? A lioness. She lay down among the lions. She nourished her whelps among young lions. And she brought up one of her whelps. It became a young lion, and it learned to catch the prey. It devoured man. That's what the glory days, Hilaire. The glory days when we were young lions. But here's the issue, Elder Elvis. Verse 4 says, the nations also heard of him, that young lion. He was taken in their pit, that young lion. And they brought him with chains unto the land of Egypt, that young lion. Now when she saw that she had waited and her hope was lost, then she took another of her whelps and made him a young lion. So the first young lion, Dwayne, roared upon the mountains, proud, but the nations heard of him and said, you know what? We got to trap him. We can't have this lion doing what this lion does. And the mother says, okay, one down, but I'm going to raise another one. Going to raise me another one. And he went up and down among the lions, and he became a young lion and learned to catch the prey and devoured men. And he knew their desolate palaces, and he laid waste their cities. And the land was desolate, and the fullness thereof by the noise of his roaring. Then the nations set against him on every side from the provinces and spread their net over him, and he was taken in their pit. And they put him inward in chains and brought him to the king of Babylon. And they brought him into the holes, and his voice should no more be heard upon the mountains of Israel. When you sit down and you start thinking about these scriptures, it's a bit saddening, because the potential, Chris, you see the potential of our people. You see when the potential was starting to show, and when the young lions were rolling upon the mountains and they were roaring, the nations who are influenced by the Hellboys decided that no more, Lorna. No more you roaring upon the mountains. No more you causing trouble. Bringing this truth. Doing what you're doing. They set up, they conspired, they bring us down one by one by one by one. So all you young lions looking at me, you've got to understand who you are and the prize that you are. You've got to know that the nations are not thrilled. They are not thrilled. I'm telling you this. But we decide, Elder Elvis, that we are going to roar until the day that we sleep.
That's it.
Would you consider yourself a young lion or an old lion? No, fair question.
Fair question.
Yeah, fair question. Would you consider yourself a young lion or an old lion?
I'm between the young and the old.
What's an old lion then? What's the definition of an old lion?
You know, I wouldn't even think any of us are old lions.
But what would be an old lion?
Somebody that's just not doing anything.
Oh, so it's not age related.
No, it's just sitting on the truth and not doing anything at all.
Okay.
Just, stagnant. It's old.
Okay.
You know, you want guys that are doing something with
Yep.
it, that are teaching, helping, building this nation.
You consider that a young lion?
Medium.
Okay, this is pretty cool. We're getting young, medium.
Because the young guys are still not yet brought up to help put their hands in yet. They should be learning from the old and the medium that are actively partaking and doing things. And
Yeah. When you hear a scripture like this, like what's your emotion? What do you feel?
It's like, why are they targeting us so much? They haven't even given us a chance to rise to the top yet. And because a young lion needs to get into the bigger, where the mane starts to grow, and when they roar, that goes out, and you can tell there's a king in the
They
jungle.
feel threatened.
But
Well, why is that?
again, it's the same story. The guy that got threw down, him and his buddies.
Yeah.
Jealous,
Yeah.
envy, the pride, can't handle the fact that you had it, but then you lost it. I mean, you let iniquity seep into you, and obviously when that happens, that displeases the God of Israel. So you can't be around the God of Israel when that stuff seeps into you. So now he's looking for another, and Israel is it. He says, that's my firstborn. So therefore, the guy that was there at the beginning says, I can't have this. There's no way this is going to happen. So the jealousy, the envy, the pride, all that thing seeped. So he's going to put stumbling blocks in every direction you could think of. And with all his minions, they're there trying to corner us, always trying to put us down.
So what, we're getting to our time here, but what do you do to prevent yourselves from getting sneered by the Hellboys? How do you live your life, and what's your secret sauce?
The secret sauce is, for me, is I know I have to try and get here every single new moon, every single Sabbath, the feasting days, the Feast of Tabernacle, the Feast of Passover. I'm trying to always get that record. Can I make it all 8 days, all 7 days? Can I be here on a Saturday, when even if it's not a new moon, or when it's not a holy day? Can I be here? Can I come and help somebody, support somebody when they say, hey, I got a service. Can you be there at 1 o'clock? It's Tuesday. Can I drop what I'm doing and be there? So those are the things that keeps me to say, I'll be. If you say, can you be there? I said, yes. It means I will be there because I've given you my word. And last week's lesson is your word should be your bond. So.
When are you going to make some sorrow for us again?
Good question. It's coming up soon because there's a certain guy's feast coming up.
Oh, yeah. I heard you you took your brother off the list of sorrow recipients. So I hear, so just so you guys know, in case, I don't know, any sorrow drinkers in here, by the way?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow, look at the hands.
So just so you know, Elder Elvis makes a sick sorrow. But here's the liquid gold.
Wow.
Liquid gold. But if you see anything against it, he quietly erases you from the list of recipients. His brother has been saying it's too sweet. So because his brother's been saying it's too sweet, Elder Elvis got his little eraser. And every time there is a distribution of sorrow, Elder Freddie doesn't make the cut. So I learned, I've seen what happened. So every time I see Elder Elvis, I'm like, dude, liquid gold, my man. Liquid, this is the best thing I've ever tasted, liquid gold. But I actually do mean it. I do mean it.
Well, okay, you know what? Yeah. If I've made it to, hear this. If I've made it to match everybody's...
I'm terrified, Lenroy. If I didn't say it, you'll cut me off. You'll be like, oh, so you've been pretending all this?
No. It's just, there's different levels to it.
Okay.
So meaning that for me personally, I would make it to my taste buds.
Okay.
But since I'm making it for a mass or a group.
Mass?
A large group of people.
Oh, okay.
Large group of people. I make it for their taste bud. And amongst that group, it's going to be okay. Which means that I shouldn't get anybody saying it's too sweet, because if everybody loves it at that level, what's that means
but
that.
Are you like, this is unfiltered here?
Yeah.
You get sensitive?
No.
So your brother didn't hurt your feelings?
Oh no, he can wean his way back.
Listen, Elder Elvis and myself, as I said, we didn't have time to really rehearse up here, but I did want it to be really organic, right? I've known Elder Elvis. We've done some StreamYards in the past, right? So I know that he has the goods, and you guys want to see more of Elder Elvis?
Thank you.
You got a big fan in the front, man. No, you don't want to get taken off his sorrow list. Okay?
Oh my goodness,
But he does really make a good sorrow. He really does. But listen, we've got a few more minutes, and you are one of the leaders of Move,
Correct.
right? And that's Men of Valor,
Correct.
right? What are your plans? Well, how do we talk about lions? We talk about young lions, and I'm putting you on the spot right now. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
you know. You think it's going well? You think there's areas of improvement? What do you think we can do?
There's always areas for improvement, 100%. There's never anything that's absolutely at the 100%.
Yeah.
So the quicker you understand that there's always an ongoing need to
Yeah.
grow, then you're good. It only happens when you think you're done. That's when you get full of yourself.
Yeah.
But in terms of what's happening right now in Moves, there's a Bible boot camp.
Okay.
Where these guys are actually learning to come up here and do this.
Okay.
Last week you had one of them.
All right.
We had,
okay.
what did we call him? Prophet
Prophet Lewis, yeah.
Yeah, he was that's product of the MOV boot camp.
Okay.
And we've got many more guys that can come up here. It's every 2 weeks that we've got the book club that we're doing, and
Okay.
that's phenomenal. And that's for both male and female.
Okay.
And you can ask any of the ladies here; they could tell you how the the book club is going.
Okay.
And
What book are you guys reviewing?
We have all of Elder's books plus Officer Charmaine's book, and whenever there's something new that
Okay.
all Israel content, we'll add it in the mixture.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. You think as a nation that we are at risk? So I'll ask you a direct question. So among my table, which is a Supreme Council table, we have maybe the average age now is probably 54, maybe higher, right? And we always look to see who that generation will be that's coming up that will kind of take over the reins. And sometimes we look around and we're like, geez, it doesn't look like we have enough. We don't have enough young lions,
Yeah.
right? Do you feel that way, or you think we're in good hands? Like how do you
There's
when
a
you
little
assess this?
There's a
Yeah.
little disparity
Okay.
between your guys and the next crop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, yeah, I look at that and says, there's not much in there. I mean, we've got the Jacob and Josiah, and who else that's in that category? I mean, Malachi should be coming back to help kind of fill in, because we need that little, and Matthew obviously is there, but he's just one.
How do we help improve that, or is there a way to improve it?
You know, all we can do is really, really pray to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to send us who he needs to fill the gap, because we can't choose who comes through those doors. And I can't say it's going to be Ishkar and Gideon, but it's him who he puts that spirit upon to lead this nation. So all we can do is earnestly and sincerely pray that there's never a gap between you guys and the next crop.
Yeah. So listen, everyone who's tuned in today to AIJ TV, again, I was your host, Elder Andel, and my special guest, Elder Elvis, and we kind of kicked back. We had a couple hours of chat, and I appreciate you joining me, man. And
Thank you for inviting me.
I hope to see you up here more, with not just with me, with Elder Freddie, with the other priests. I hope to see you up here more. And again, we were talking about, we stole the name from Elder Michael, beware of the Hellboys. And I think in closing, our young folks, hear what Elder Elvis said. You know, we pray, we don't know who's going to open the door, but those of you who are here, try to find a way where you can dodge and get away from the snares and don't fall into that. And find a way where you can hold on to Elder Freddie or Elder Michael or Elder Castrilli and others to learn what we do. Just learn, gravitate to it, learn, ask. We're happy to help you guys grow, because the nation has to survive.
Yes.
And has to continue. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. Thank you,
Awesome.
guys.
Thank you.